Hello and happy Tuesday, everybody. Thursday. Yeah, we're not Tuesday. Thursday. I don't know if I'm going backward in time or forward in time, but it is Thursday, February 8th. I'm very excited about today's show. I'm excited that I have enough of a voice that we can do a show today. So I just wanted to let you know that every one of you that'll be here today will be blessed by what we're going to be learning and sharing. And I am so excited about my guests on the show today. Hello, Bud Files, Joe and Sue. How are you guys? It's good to see you today. So reminder that during the show, if you have questions, feel free to post your questions in the chat. If I miss them, you may have to post again. I do sometimes get distracted and miss a question here or there. So if that's the case, just post it again, or somebody point out to me that I missed a question. If I have a moderator in the chat, feel free to bring that to my attention that we've got a question on the screen. I've got a list of questions, obviously, for them. So hopefully I'll cover a lot of things that you might like to know, because there are a lot of things I'd like to know about them and a lot of things I'd like to share with you guys. So let me just get another thing set up here right quick. All right. It is a beautiful weather day here in Southlake. Ahead of some rain. We are expected to get rain again this weekend. That just seems to be the trend lately. So I don't know what to do with that. I don't guess there's anything I can do with that. But I still have not really completely dried out from the other rains we've had over the course of the last few weeks. So 68 degrees right now. I have the doors open, or at least the back door open. That way the dogs can let themselves in and out. And it's very comfortable here. When I got out of the shower, I was expecting to feel kind of cold when I first got out of the shower, but it felt really nice. So either I have more of a fever than I realized, and that's why I didn't feel cold, or it really is a comfortable temperature right now. But let me bring up, I know I've got at least a couple of our guests about ready to come up. So I'm gonna let them get all situated. Looks like they're going to be around a little table for us, and you will get to meet three of many wildlife rehabbers from Wild Heart Ranch. Wild Heart Ranch on YouTube right now is sitting at 1,240 something subscribers. So as always, I encourage you to check out their channel. They are very active on their Facebook page. I've got links in the description for the video so that you guys can visit that, and I'll get those links popped into the chat for you as we go through the show today. Hello, Texas born and raised. Thank you for being here today. So without further ado, let's bring up our guests today. How are y'all?
We're good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So tell us your names.
Okay, so I'm Randy, and I'm one of the rehabbers here at Wild Heart Ranch.
Okay.
I'm Austin, and I'm training to be one of our vet techs.
Oh, nice. Okay, so you guys are like a teaching facility as well.
Yeah, I mean, and that
Okay.
will take in, us as rehabbers and upcoming vet techs to teach us along the way.
Okay, very nice, which is probably the best way to do it.
Exactly.
I don't know that you can just sit in a class and read a book or watch some videos and really get in there and get your hands on it, right? You really got to be there, seeing it live and in person.
And Susan is also here with us.
Okay. Hello, Susan. Hello. All right. So, obviously, you can share anything you want to share with us today. I will be working off of a little set of questions. Again, just some things that I would love to know, and I think my audience would love to know. And my goal today is just going to be to raise awareness about who you are, where you are, what you do, and how people can help support your efforts. So I think by learning about Wild Heart Ranch, that'll take us a long way toward meeting those objectives.
Mm-hmm.
My first question is, can you give us like a brief history? Like, when did Wild Heart Ranch start, and how did it start? Who started it? How did it get its name? What kind of animals do you treat? Just if somebody knew nothing about you, what would you tell us?
Sure, I know some of those. So, and
Okay.
Susan can probably help. So I know in 1996 is when our director, Annette King, started Wild Heart Ranch. and we are located here in Foyle, Oklahoma, and we are a state and federally licensed wildlife rehabilitation center. So we will take in any indigenous species of wildlife that is injured, orphaned, or sick.
Okay.
Since the beginning of time of 1996 till now, it's been estimated that we've probably successfully released over 90,000 animals back into the wild.
Okay, that is a question that was coming up later on my list, and that's mind-boggling to me. That is a 9-0 with 3 zeros after it. Yes? Oh my goodness.
And I don't know how she came up with the name. Do you know, Susan?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just know it started with 2 baby raccoons that had nowhere to go and no one would take them.
Okay, awesome. So where in Oklahoma?
Foyle.
And what part of Oklahoma is that?
So we're northeast. We're at Claremore, like Tulsa area. We're a smaller community off of that.
Okay, and are both of you from that area as well? Everybody lives nearby?
Yes, we do.
Okay. And before you were at Wild Heart Ranch, and this will go to any of y'all, what did you do before your hearts led you to Wild Heart Ranch?
I was a pharmacy tech in pharmacy school.
Okay.
So
I was actually a psychologist. Yeah. So I went, completely different, but my heart was always with animals. And so I was rescuing cats and doing stuff. And so whenever COVID hit, it was kind of a time to reevaluate what I was doing, and actually started here. The idea was they needed part-time help. But once I got through the door, started feeding babies, and I'm still here.
Nice. And how big is the staff total?
We have, 5 on staff. We'll have a small team of rehabbers. We'll have a vet tech, and then we have like 40 volunteers. And then we have we have 4 veterinarians that help us with medical.
All right. And obviously you treat wildlife. Have you ever been in a position to rescue a domestic animal?
So we do have a couple residents who aren't quite wildlife. We have a lemur.
Okay.
2 marble foxes, and they aren't native to Oklahoma. And we've got 2 parrots.
Oh.
So we've got a couple here and there.
Okay. Is there an animal native to Oklahoma that you have not cared for at Wild Heart Ranch yet? Or in the history of Wild Heart Ranch? Not necessarily that none of you in particular have cared for it, but is there something that's native that hasn't walked through the door yet?
Yeah, I don't think there is, because as Susan is saying, we've had bears, we've had mountain lions, we've had bobcats. I don't think there's anything out there around here that we haven't had yet.
How interesting.
Yeah, we even get field mice in.
Interesting. So. Yeah, that's another thing on my question. What's the smallest animal that has been rescued and rehabbed at Wild Heart Ranch?
The field mice. They're teeny tiny when they come in.
And then what's the largest animal? Didn't you have a donkey? Did you have a donkey once upon a time?
We do have a donkey.
Yeah.
Okay.
We do have a donkey. We do have a miniature horse here on the property too.
They have jobs.
But they have jobs, yeah. So they're
not they work there. Okay.
They work there. They actually protect our fawn yard. So whenever we put the fawns out there,
it's
time to release. They actually do a wonderful job of keeping other wildlife out and protecting.
Okay. And I have a picture that I grabbed from your Facebook. I'm going to pull that up right now and share it. You guys will stay on screen with me while I do that. Looks like this post just went up earlier today. Let me get back to this screen now. And I imagine this is a big time of year for this particular little critter. Looks like a baby squirrel. So I guess this is breeding season or baby season for squirrels, which would explain why over the course of the last month or so I have seen so many squirrels out and about on our property. They're everywhere. And I'm guessing it's because they're busy getting ready for babies or making babies or caring for babies. And what do you know? What is the story of this little one?
He actually came in. Somebody had cut down his tree, and so his nest fell, and so he was the only one that was left in there, and so he was brought to us.
Did the other ones not make it, or they
didn't
were
make
just
it.
not?
They didn't
Oh.
make it into us. So
Did the people who cut the tree down? Is that who found them?
yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So people around you.
That's
Go
kind of
ahead.
what's common right now. Everybody's getting, all their trees and everything cut down, and so we'll get several calls for that.
Okay. And people just know now. They know who to call, right?
Right.
Sometimes.
Do you ever take in wildlife from outside of Oklahoma?
No.
Okay.
It's a big thing that you can't bring wildlife over state lines.
Okay.
So.
Do you work with other facilities so that if you get a call or an email or something, you can say, contact this place?
I wouldn't say we work with them like personally, but we do have, list of rehabbers, and we have some numbers where we'll tell them, who they should contact in their area.
Okay.
Because their laws are different. They're all, it's different when it gets further away from us, and we don't always know. So we just want to give them the information we know, and then they can call who they need to.
Okay. What does Wild Heart Ranch do as far as outreach and public education?
Austin actually just did some.
Yeah. So we get asked pretty often to go speak at churches or different organizations. So recently I just went to a Unitarian church in Tulsa and did like a PowerPoint kind of presentation. So we do that, I'd say like once a month or so.
Okay.
And then obviously in our Facebook, we're always putting, stories out there, and it's always really trying to educate everybody every year about the different animals and the steps to take when you find one.
And who typically does the contacting? Like, who contacts you most often to set up a seminar or workshop or public education opportunity?
It just kind of depends. We get from a lot of different people.
Okay. I just posted a link in the chat for folks to visit your website if you're interested in getting more details after the show today, or if you didn't catch us live and get to hear them give us some of the details, then you can surely go and check them out there. I'm going to get some other links posted throughout the show today. But let me get back to my questions. And again, I have to thank you guys for being here. This is going to be on my top favorite shows list for sure. So anything animal related is right up my alley. I've done animal rescue for a long time. We work with Good Shepherd Rescue now, rescuing German Shepherd dogs. And many of the animals who live here at Rich Cat Ranch are rescue animals. So we've got a rescue horse and a rescue mule, a rescue red-eared slider turtle, some rescue ducks. All of the cats are rescues. All of the dogs are rescues. And it's just so near and dear to my heart. And we'll have like a favorite animal of mine that I'll ask you about later. But I just have so many questions because I'm so excited that you're on the show. And I want people to know why I'm excited about it so they can get excited about it too. Who manages your social media pages, and what social media pages are you on?
Annette does most of them. Wouldn't you say? Annette, oh yes, and Greg, who takes, you'll see the photos that Greg posts. Annette really does most of the Facebook. She's the one that does the main posting. Then we will go through and help with the comments, so we can make sure to answer people's questions.
Okay.
We have the website up that Annette also manages.
Okay. Do you give all of the animals that come in names?
We do not.
Okay. Because I'm familiar with Raven the crow, but was Raven a rescue?
She was, and Susan was here when Raven first came.
So we got her as a baby, a fledgling.
Yeah, we got her as a baby, as a fledgling.
And is she still there?
She is not.
Okay. Because she's moved on to the other side?
Yes.
Okay. I know that was a treat for me to keep up with her.
Yeah,
because
around here.
I don't think I really understood about crows talking until her.
Yeah.
So I knew about ravens talking.
Yeah, she did get a name because she stayed around. But most of the ones that we treat here, we don't give them names. And yeah.
And for each of you, so you can each answer this question for me. Have you had a favorite animal experience or a favorite species that you've worked with?
I would say not for me personally. I mean, because it changes every day. I might be like, oh, I love, working with the baby squirrels. Then we get a possum in. And I'm like, oh, it's the baby possums and the raccoons. I mean, and so it changes all the time. So obviously I love them all. Love working with them. And so, yeah, it would be hard for me to say if I had a specific species that I like to work with.
Okay.
As far as like the animals we have like right now, if you've been on the Facebook, you've probably seen her, but Soren, our vulture, holds a special place in my heart.
Okay.
She's a vulture that we got as a fledgling, and I wasn't around for that. But now that she's grown, she lives outside, and she still comes and visits us. We leave food out for her, and she's a lot of character, keeps us company.
She will move on. She's just taking a little longer to mature.
Yeah.
Okay. And Susan, do you have a favorite or one that's near and dear to your heart?
Somebody, they have a favorite child.
maybe if it's
owls and crows are my favorite.
Oh, nice. Okay, so we have bird lovers here. How about like biggest success story? Do you have a story that you weren't sure it was going to turn out well, and then it exceeded your expectations, and it'll forever be like one of your highlights?
I know for me, Elsa the coyote, I was here when she came in. She was, it was freezing out. They had put her in the back of the truck and drove like 45 minutes. So she was hypothermic. She was having seizures.
Was this the mange baby?
Yes, she was covered in mange. And it wasn't looking very good, but we saved her and she fully recovered and she left just the other day. So
how nice. Cool. Yeah. See, I want to hear those kind of stories because I know you have to take the bad with the good. And I know it doesn't always go like you hope because we can't control it. But I feel like, and just my own experience with rescue, it's those success stories that keep you motivated to keep doing it. So, for every foster that for whatever reason we've lost or something happened after they were adopted, I just think of all the ones that went on to have wonderful, happy, healthy, long lives. And that's why we do what we do. So I like focusing on that. Anyone else have like one of your biggest success stories that you just hold on to?
Last year we had Maisie, who was also a mange coyote, and January, which actually wasn't wildlife, but was the cow that we had. She was a big success for. If anybody followed us then, that was a special case that we took on.
This picture of Maisie. Maisie was in worse shape when she got here.
And that was Maisie.
Oh, yes.
And
she was the most beautiful.
Yes, look at her. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, you'd never know. Yeah. You'd never know that's what it was going to be at the end, would you?
And then we had Crash, the fawn. And his story was he was born his mom got hit by a car.
Got hit by a car and he was ejected from her body.
Yeah. And came in horrible shape, and we he stayed here until he got big and jumped our fence, and he stayed around for a while. He's been there, but he lives his life wherever he wants to.
Sweet. And then Susan, do you have a big success story that you hold on to?
I've been here for 11 years, so there's been a lot.
That's good. No, that's what I want to hear. That's part of the purpose of the question. I want everyone to remember that even when it doesn't turn out great, there's so many more. The positive outweighs the negative. That it has to be that way, or it would just eat away, I think, at what you guys do every day. I am curious, Randy, if you feel like your psychology background does help. If anything, does it help you? Because
sure. Yeah,
I would imagine some of the connections and attachments and things that would be natural as an animal lover, you have to keep those in check. And it seems like it would actually be a really great tool.
Well, I know for one, I think just crisis management, because we don't ever know what comes through the door,
right? Or when it's going to show up. Yeah,
they're in, and to be able to to just think and act and just do what we need to do at the time. That's definitely came in very handy.
And oh, go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, and then Austin. So pharmacy tech to vet tech in training. How do those fit together? Because I still feel like caring for other beings and maybe some of the analytical side of what you used to do probably comes in handy for what you're doing now.
Yeah, so a lot of the medications transfer, like a lot of the medications for humans we also use for the animals.
Okay.
That can be used for both. So that kind of education helped a lot, and maybe like working fast-paced is pretty important.
Okay. And then Susan, what did Susan tell me she did before she came to Wild Heart Ranch?
Oh, I was in management with Walmart.
Okay. So has that background helped you in your time at Wild Heart Ranch?
Not so much.
She keeps us in line. So.
Okay, yeah, no, that's right. It has its place. It has its place. It may not be as obvious, but definitely has its place. So do each of you or do all of the rehabbers tend to kind of specialize in particular species or sets of species, or you really just take whatever comes in?
I would, for myself, it isn't necessarily species, but I guess my heart and focus is on just feeding. So I just got to make sure everybody eats. And so that's what I'm always going around trying to figure out how to make them eat, make sure that we're keeping on the times. And so that's just naturally what I'm always going to.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's definitely the injured or what we can do or what might be wrong. I'm always Googling, like, can this happen to this, or why is this like this?
Okay.
So that kind of thing.
And then Susan, do you specialize in something there?
No, I just learned how to take care of them all. And if there's something new that we get in, then we get to learn. Every day is a learning opportunity here.
That keeps it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet the days go by really fast.
Yes.
Yeah. And they're getting ready to be faster once we get all these.
Oh, spring is coming. Yes. So at any given time during the peak seasons, how many animals are in your care at Wild Heart Ranch? I mean, you don't have to give me exact number, but
I know we're estimating we're going to get like 2,500 to 3,000 in from between now to fall. We'll be hand raising that many.
wow. And what is the size of the facility? What can you logistically accommodate there?
So we have 100 acres.
Okay, nice.
So it's a lot of room, but as far as our clinic.
Yeah, so on the 100 acres, we have a main clinic. So we can do our medical in here. We can house the orphans and the injured until they're ready to go outside. We have a nursery inside the clinic. So that way we're able to separate our babies to give them peace and quiet. And it's pretty fully functioning. We can do everything down there. Wash clothes, do their dishes, so we're not cross-contaminating with the animals up here that might be sick. And then outside, we have outdoor enclosures for any type of mammal needs, and our songbirds and raptors have aviaries. And we have a beaver pond, and we have an eagle aviary, because we are licensed for eagles. And then we have a big fawn yard. So we got plenty of, we have it all set up here, which enables us to take so many.
Yeah, and I know I've seen that fawn yard full more than once.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Who knew? Who knew there were so many baby deer around?
Oh,
yeah. This is a really general question, but maybe it's like a triage type question. So let's say you get in an animal, you don't know if it's sick, if it's hurt, if it's whatever. What happens when they come in? So either someone shows up with an animal in their arms, or you get a call and you go get an animal. I know sometimes you can tell just the clues around the scene, obviously would tell you what happened, or a witness may know what happened. But if you get an animal and literally no one knows what happened, they just found this animal laying in the woods or whatever, what happens? How do you make assessments on wildlife to figure out what's happening, what's wrong? What do we do first?
So we have like a medical examination area that's like just like a vet's office, fully stocked. And usually when an animal comes in, we will call like Annette or her husband Dan, and they're so knowledgeable. A lot of times they can just look and know. But there are like a lot of signs, like we know what a concussion looks like. We know how to see if they're just emaciated.
Okay.
Stuff like that. Like it's just as you go, you kind of learn the big like telltale signs. And a lot of animals, we just have to give time, food and water and safety and time to let them kind of heal and sort things out.
Okay. How many phone calls do you suppose you take? Again, I'm talking more like peak season. I'm sure you get calls all year round, but when it really gets busy, those 2,500 animals you're estimating you're going to be caring for in the course of the next however many months, how many phone calls does that mean a day?
Probably 50 to 100.
Yeah, anywhere between 50 to 100. I mean, as soon as we hang up, there's another phone call coming in, another one. And so we're just, really filling those all day.
Do you ever get calls where you're able to tell someone at the scene, here, do this, or at least do this till you can get them here? Or
we're always giving instructions. We'll ask a bunch of questions on the phone first to kind of see, do we need to intervene? What's going on? And we will give them some instructions until they can bring it to us.
Okay. And do you usually have people bring the animal to you, or do you often go get the animal?
They always come to us.
We aren't licensed to be able to go get animals.
Okay,
so
a liability.
everything's brought to us.
Okay. How often do you work with other government agencies or law enforcement, or?
I feel like pretty regularly we get an animal control bringing something, or a sheriff bringing something.
Or game wardens. Game wardens we speak to a lot.
Okay. And what would you say is the most dangerous animal? I mean, I know you've had, I remember that baby bobcat. I'm sure he's not a baby bobcat anymore. And so I don't know how much damage you could have done as a baby bobcat, but I think you said you've had mountain lions. And,
they scratch you up pretty bad. Yeah.
But so dangerous wildlife. What kind of dangerous or potentially dangerous wildlife have you worked with? I mean, I guess they can all be dangerous. You can get bitten or kicked, but things that people associate with danger. Again, like mountain lions or snakes or.
And obviously the adults are the ones that we got to worry about. And so, we've gotten foxes, coyotes, the bobcats for sure.
And rabies is something else we look out for a lot.
Right. How often do you encounter that?
I don't think we have. No.
And do you vaccinate? Then do you vaccinate mammals before they're released?
The rec.
We vaccinated with distemper.
Yeah, distemper, but around here we fortunately haven't had rabies outbreaks or it's been, we don't see it in even our raccoons and stuff. Not that they're not carriers like bats and stuff.
Right.
We don't run into that.
Okay. Have you treated bats?
Oh yeah.
Have you treated snakes?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So what kind of snakes are in Oklahoma?
A lot of times what we get are the rat snakes or the black snakes. A lot come in.
Okay. And what's the typical reasons that they would come in?
People
a golf ball.
Give their chickens golf balls.
Swallow a
sit on. That's a big one for the snakes.
Yeah. Yeah. When we get rat snakes here, I don't worry about it unless it's nesting season. And the rat snakes certainly seem to know when I have mamas on nests. But I realize sometimes that's just the price I pay to keep the rats out of the pen. So, but we haven't. I don't use fake eggs. If they're going to eat an egg, they're going to eat an egg, but because they do a job for us. But and then for bats, what reasons would bring a bat to you?
Well, usually here lately it's because the weather has changed so frequently here in Oklahoma. We'll be warm 60s one day, and then we've got an ice storm coming, and so they get caught between the weather. They get grounded. They can't fly off the ground.
Okay.
So people will pick them up, and we'll say, go ahead and bring them in, and we'll examine them, and usually just need to warm them up, give them some food, and we can take them outside, and usually they'll take off from there.
Okay. What is the biggest challenge of working in wildlife rescue?
I think for me, it's the loss. As many animals as we can save, there's usually that many that we can't.
Right.
So for me, that's been the hardest part.
Right.
I would say just still educating people to bring in the babies
That's what I was
and
trying to get people to listen
yeah,
to it.
so you
Okay.
can listen to us to bring them to us as soon as you find them. Don't wait until they're, they've gone through the cute baby stage and now you want to bring them to us because that's not, we're not going to be able to help you with that. And
Right.
if they're injured, sometimes they'll hold on to them, and if they would have brought it in sooner, maybe we could have fixed that wing.
So really like no other animal. So it's the same as any other animal, really.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh. Do any animals, if you have let's say you have a non-releasable animal, because I know that happens. They're
Yeah.
treated, they get well, or they're on the other side, and you can't release them. Do they ever get adopted? I know you've had at least some kind of animals that you then released them like onto a sanctuary or some place like that. So, but I'm wondering if there are any species that they can actually then be adopted by
Not
some
not
entity.
adopted because you can't even legally have wildlife without a license here in
Right.
Oklahoma. So, even if we had a raccoon or something that we can release, like we couldn't adopt it out. And we wouldn't really want to. We like them to
Be wild.
be wild.
Yeah.
That goes into all of our decision making, their quality of life.
And do you monitor any of the animals by some means after release? Are there times when there's a follow-up needed, or so once they're out on their own, that's it?
Yeah, because if we let them go, we know they are ready and they're just going right back to what they knew how to do before we got them. So.
Okay. And how do you I feel like I would not be a good wildlife rehabber, although I've been interested in learning how to be a wildlife rehabber, and people tend to call me,
Mhm.
oh, I see this thing. There's this thing in my backyard. And my first question is, because then they want to know if I can come and get it. And I tell them, no, I'm not, that's not allowed. I can't come and get it. Here's the phone number, call Nature's Edge, or, there's a couple of rehab places around here. But, where was I going with that question? I don't even know where I was going with that question now. And I'll apologize again for my coughing. I have had some kind of creepy crud since like last Friday. So I'm just chugging honey lemon water as much as I can stand. That'll mean I'm going to have some weird pauses here and there. Okay, I know I talked to you about if you ever monitor animals after release. Let me just move on to my next question, and then maybe I'll remember where I was going with that one. Do you work with aquatic animals at all?
No, I mean it depends. Like your typical like ducks and geese
And like beavers.
Okay, but like no fish, no. I don't know what anyone would bring a fish in for, but
no, never had a fish.
okay.
Hell, they did off one day.
Yeah, we had a moth one time. Susan did, but that's
An MOTH moth.
a moth.
Okay, so what was the issue with the moth?
Well, it wasn't alive when she brought it.
Bless someone's heart though for being that tender that they would.
Yeah,
They would want to bring
I've got
a
some
moth to
heads
you.
for butterflies before and things. Yeah.
So equipment. Tell me what kind of what do you have available there in your clinic? Are you got everything you need to make it so you can take x-rays, you can do whatever kind of scans, or
We don't do x-rays.
okay.
But we do have our veterinarians if we do need to have that done. But
Okay.
a lot of it we do by feel. I mean,
Okay.
we go through there. We have our standard, what we go through, and unless it's necessary, then but we do have that available for us. But we just don't have it in our office.
Is there a piece of equipment though that you wish you had in the office, whether it's administrative stuff, or is there something that you go, man, I wish we had a whatever, and you don't have it for some reason?
As far as the medical side, we really have everything we need.
Okay. But admin, is there something, I mean, I don't know.
That's kind of
I want people to figure out reasons to pitch in and help.
internet that works, but that's because we're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And so,
I wish for that sometimes too, and I'm not out in the middle of nowhere.
So
So
we're always going outside to check our phones, and but that just comes along with where we're at, and we're fine with it.
and so like a schedule, typical day in the life of a wildlife rehabber. You have a set schedule. Are you on call? Do you take turns being on call? How does that work?
I'm usually the morning person. I come in, and Susan comes in the mornings, and we do the morning feedings and all the cleanup. Keeping it clean here is one of the top priorities for us, and so we have a really thorough cleaning regimen in the mornings. And then Austin, she does both. She sometimes opens, or she comes in the evening and she closes.
Okay. And I know what I was going to ask you. I know now what I was going to ask you, because I started talking about myself, thinking it would be hard for me to be a rehabber, because I'm just the kind that whatever I encounter, I'm a big bug lover. So if any bug will be still long enough to let me handle it and talk with it, I have to do that. Again, people will call me. They got a snake at their house, or I've worked in jobs before where some kind of bug or snake or something got into the business, and I'm the one they come to get to take it outside. And I just worry that it would be really difficult for me to not cross that line that would take away some wildness. I don't know how else to say it. I know as babies, they think it's called imprinting.
Yeah.
But when they get older, even, I'm sure you still have to be careful that you don't connect so much that then they go out into the wild again and they're not wild enough anymore. And I wonder, how do you do that? I just worry that, and maybe I wouldn't. Maybe if I was really having to do it and I knew that was my job, I would understand. But for just being the regular person out here in the world that encounters animals from time to time, I just feel like I love them all. I want them all to be my babies.
Babies.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Annette has got, she's got, all this worked out really well in her 30 years maybe doing this, that we have a system in place for babies till they get older, so that we have to be hands-on, obviously, when they're babies, to feed them and to keep them clean. But as their eyes start opening or they start getting their feathers in, then we're becoming less and less hands-on with them.
Okay.
And so, like I said, they'll start in the clinic, little incubators, and they get the tubs, the cages. And by the time they're outside, they really don't want anything to do with us anymore, because, we group them together. And so they are fully wild whenever it's time for them to go.
Okay. And hello, Weave's World, and hello, Nancy at Our Treasured Home. Thank you guys for being here today.
And as Susan was saying, if you could hear her, we know not to, we don't love them on them. We don't hug them like we would our cats and dogs. We go home and do that with our pets. We don't.
So that leads me to another question on my list. What kind of pets? So when you're not at the office, what pets do you have at your home?
I have a lot of cats. I have 7 cats, and
Okay.
I have 2 dogs, and I think we all have a lot of animals. Austin's a cat and dog. No dog.
No dog.
No.
I have 3 cats.
I have a dog and a bearded dragon.
Oh, how fun. Okay.
And here on the property, we have Jake and Gunner, who are mastiffs that we do get to love on. They're family. Walter the pug, he comes over, and we get to love on him and spoil him all the time.
So the mastiffs, though, do they protect? Are they working dogs?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
They're guard dogs.
They
Nice.
are our dogs.
And how big are they?
They're big.
They're
Good size.
big.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where did they come?
If they see them, they know not to mess with them.
Right. Where did they come from? So the resident animals. Where did the resident animals at Wild Heart Ranch come from?
I wasn't here, so Susan might know that one.
That we got Jake and Gunner during COVID.
Okay.
Somebody had them and got a hold of Annette, and we needed guard dogs. I don't exactly remember now. That year was kind of a blur.
Right.
Pretty much rescues.
Yeah.
everyone.
Okay. Okay. And so do they live inside the clinic then, or well, the guard dogs, do they live outside?
Well, during the winter they are inside.
Okay.
And we're working, they'll be inside, outside. When it becomes warmer outside and we have more animals that are out, then they will guard them. And we do have residents here. We have Keebler, our lemur that we can love on. We have Opie, our blind possum that we can give extra attention to.
Which
Okay.
we had to get permission to keep them.
Mhm.
Okay, because he's a possum.
Yes.
Yeah, we can't just keep everything that comes through that has,
Right.
but
Right. He works full time in the office, right? I
Yeah.
think that was the Facebook page.
yeah.
So yeah, what? Hey,
Yeah.
hey, Opie. Oh my gosh! Yes, look at him. Oh my gosh, look at him.
Mhm.
What is happening right now?
Yeah.
You're napping? Oh my gosh, he's so cute.
He is.
And I think with keeping the residents, it's really important to us that they're happy and they have a good quality of life.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
If they were miserable and like hissing or
Yeah.
not happy, we definitely wouldn't keep them. But
Right,
like,
right.
He just lives his little life and
Yeah, he just
he's
walks around
happy.
Oh, that's just too precious. That's just too precious. Yeah, we do see possums here from time to time, and I know you're not supposed to mix them, but we have a camera in the barn, and when we've left food out for the barn cats, because we have barn cats,
Mhm.
and some are just, I guess, feral cats from the neighborhood, because I'll see cats that I don't know on the camera. We have a camera out there, but we've had instances where there will be the cat and a possum and a raccoon all out on the little shelf there, taking turns eating and drinking the water, and I just think, wow, why can't people be like that? Look how they're getting along.
Right,
All
exactly. Yeah.
getting along, and they're sharing, and there's no fighting, and
People can learn a lot from the animal world.
no kidding, no kidding. So that leads me to like my final question I want to ask you guys about, because I'm a huge eagle lover.
Mhm.
I love bald eagles. This is eagle nesting season in North America. And I know you guys have had some eagle intakes.
Mhm.
And do either of you know the stories enough to tell us what happened that those eagles ended up with you, and how long were they with you? And
Well, we had Scout and Frosty. Scout and Frosty for a long time. I don't know if I remember their stories then.
I can look.
Yeah, Annette, or
okay,
Susan would have that. Or no, I'm thinking of Tyson. We had
Which
Tyson.
we just recently.
Yeah, we just
Yeah.
released Tyson.
So we don't currently have any eagles.
okay,
And Scout, we got special government permission, and she's now living with the Zuni tribe.
okay,
In New
nice.
Mexico.
So, but the eagles that have come in, if I remember right, they've all been adult eagles. So you haven't
Yes.
had little eaglets come in. Okay. So the are you guys eagle lovers? I mean, I know you're animal lovers.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
when they
That's
come
just a
in.
fantasy of mine to
It is a whole other
Yeah.
when they come in, and most of the time I guess in general it's somebody's found them on the ground somewhere, they weren't flying,
okay.
so they were able to be caught, because otherwise you're not
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be
no
really
way.
hard to catch them all.
No way, right.
Yeah,
You know
And
something's
usually-
wrong.
usually it's wing injuries, and we rehabilitate that, give them time. They all get lead tested and avian flu tested, so we can make sure that they're healthy enough for us to do the stuff with them, and then we work to release.
And is there a time of year that team seems to be more common for eagles?
Oh,
Usually in the fall.
yeah, I would say the fall.
So they're nesting. They're getting ready,
Mhm.
probably busy picking up sticks and stuff for their nests, and
Right.
maybe get hit. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm a huge, again, my audience will know, and they can tell you, I'm a huge eagle lover, and I probably follow almost 40 nests in North America.
Oh yeah.
Keeping up with who's got eggs and who's got babies, and whose eggs didn't make it, whose babies didn't make it, who's got a new mate this year, whose mate disappeared, and it's a big soap opera every day. But anytime I've seen you guys bring in an eagle, I just think, oh my goodness, you really do it all.
Mhm.
Have you had turtles? Have you treated turtles?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. What's the primary kind of turtles up there? Oops.
Oh, lost you.
Like eye problems.
Yeah, they do have a lot of eye problems, or hit by car. Unfortunately,
Okay.
We get
Right.
a lot of hit by cars.
And,
And-
one of our residents, Lumpy, is actually a sulcata tortoise. And he's like full grown, big guy.
And what's his story? How did he end up there?
Some people actually got him for a pet, and they lost him in their backyard for 3 years until they hit him with the mower.
Yes, I remember.
That's different. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah.
So Annette took him and has had him ever since.
Sweet.
Yeah. So he stays here with us during the winter, so he can stay inside, and then during the summer, he gets to go what we say to summer camp and go stay at Greg's house, so he can stay outside.
And about how old is he? Any way to know?
37.
37.
Oh my goodness. What is the oldest animal you think you've probably cared for? Is it him? Because I know they don't all live that long.
Yeah, I was gonna say we have African gray parrot,
Okay.
and what do we think Teddy was?
Teddy's in his
40s.
40s. I
Yeah,
believe.
40s or.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. Yeah, I'm already at a point in my life. We have a big red-eared slider. She'll be 7 years old the beginning of April this year.
Mhm. And then Keebler, for his age of a lemur, he's up there. We've estimated anywhere between like 22 to 24 years old. He might be.
I had no idea they lived that long. Now, yeah, so there's one. How did he end up there?
He was part of a traveling circus for a while, and then when they stopped, he, I think, did some more petting type zoo things, and then he ended up with us after he didn't found out
Had
he
nowhere to
didn't like, other lemurs, and he didn't like
Okay.
children.
And did you say that's something you had to get a special permit to have?
I don't know about
We got
that,
it from
but
Lori.
we got him from an exotic rescue
Okay.
who asked Annette if if she had a great place for him that he would be more suitable for, and,
Mhm.
and we did. We don't have kids here, that you have to be 18 before you can volunteer. We don't have any other lemurs, so we just kind of matched all the boxes he needed. And
Okay.
so,
And originally I had a question on my list I was going to ask about if you ever had exotic animals come in, and I thought, no, they wouldn't have exotic animals because there are no exotic animals in Oklahoma. And then I thought, wow, who knew?
yeah,
Is it-
we do have there is a rescue in Tulsa that we will that Annette will contact if we get exotic calls.
Okay.
We'll send them her way, and she'll do the same thing. If she gets some, then we all kind of do share each other's information around here.
Okay. So what is, if each of you want to share, what's one thing you want most for people to know about who Wild Heart Ranch is, what they do, and why they do it? If you just had to sum it up for the
We all live the
why.
same is the big motto we have here, and so for me, that's definitely what attracts me here, and as an animal lover, anyways. That I couldn't possibly I can't stand to see an animal suffer, and just not have the best life they can. And so for me, that's what this place brings for me.
They all
In Austin.
I think for me, like kind of what Susan said, all the wild animals deserve to be wild, and people keeping them as pets, like I think we really try to educate people not to do that. And then anything I could tell the public would be like, if you find an injured animal, don't keep it.
Yes, guys, make a note. Hello, Erica Olson. Thanks for being here today. Yes. So do you have, are there any big plans or additions to the property or things?
Oh, I'm
that
sure.
you work?
I'm sure Annette's working up something, even though she was like, we got the
No more.
the new clinic, that's it. But you can't help but we are even improving right now on our duck pond and area. So even if we don't go big, we at least look at ways to improve what we have, update as we need. But we keep things really moving along here. We don't let things get away from us. This is another thing about Wild Heart. It's I think it's the best place to be, but we're all like family here, and I would say that everybody who comes in, we come in happy, we leave happy, and it's a really great environment here.
Sweet. And so how does one go about volunteering? What's the process to become a volunteer?
So we actually have a volunteer in here, Dava.
Hi, Dava.
We'll let her talk about her volunteer.
Hey, Dava.
Dava, you've been here what, a year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us
Hi.
about your. Hi, David. Tell us about your volunteer story. How did it happen? Why did it happen? And what did you have to do to get started?
Well, what I had brought several animals in before. We brought in, I found a bird that was in the summer. His little feet was melted to the asphalt.
Oh,
okay. We brought him in, and we brought in an owl that a lady around me. There's a great horned owl in her chicken coop. And so me and my sister brought the owl in the end of December. And Annette was like, hey, if you want to volunteer, fill out an application. Here it is. Bring it back anytime. And so I brought it back in January, just dropped it off. And they're like, well, it's not baby season anymore. And, and I'm like, that's okay. And stuff. But I was looking for something to do. My husband had passed away. And so like, I really need something
Yes.
to help my mental health.
Yes.
And it was actually Dan's mom followed me out to the car, and she said, hey, I volunteer on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And Annette said, hey, if you want to start coming in now and before it got real busy, then you can work with me. So I started doing that, and it is honestly the best thing that I have ever done.
Oh, nice. That's
has
wonderful.
It has been amazing.
Thank you for volunteering.
I've learned so much
Uh-huh.
because I am one of those that want to hold and keep all the babies.
Yep.
But that's the thing is like when you come out here and you hear the why we do, and it makes sense. And even though you just want to put them in your pocket and take them home, you can't because
Right.
it's only harming them.
Right.
But I've learned so much.
So nice. Do you have pets at home?
I do.
What kind of pets?
I have a French bulldog, and then I had a border collie that just passed, and I have a Siamese cat.
Okay. Okay.
But now my sister has had llamas, an ostrich. She had Highland cows. So we've been around that,
Okay.
because my sister's always had something.
Okay. That's nice. That's nice. Again, thank you for volunteering.
Thank you.
I know that's a critical part of rescue for sure.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. And so donations, how important are donations to what you do there? Monetary donations. Obviously you've got volunteers that donate time. And do you have people that donate equipment or food, or like do you have companies that donate grain or stuff like that?
We have an Amazon wish list, which a lot of our followers will go on and help us out when we see something we need. Then we do it. We do fundraisers. We have our Dime for the Wild. We're always kind of auctioning off things that maybe other followers have made for us because our formula costs are
I can't imagine.
high.
Yeah.
They are extremely high, and they get higher every year.
Yeah. And then monetary donations. So I do have in the chat, I've got links to visit your website, to visit your Facebook page, to check out your Amazon wish list, and the donate link at PayPal. But monetary donations, how much of that allows for you to do what you do?
All of it. So we're
Okay.
a nonprofit.
Right.
I think we're all donation based.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep.
So yeah, we're completely donation based.
Okay. So again, that link is in the chat. You guys can very easily just click on that. And I'm sure it goes without saying, every dollar makes a difference.
It does.
So it's
Yes.
not like you've got to be in a position to donate hundreds of dollars.
Mm-mm.
And it'll mean a lot to me for you to support them. I know it'll mean a lot to them for you to support them that way. And I want to encourage any viewers, anyone in the chat today, anyone that's watching live or part of the Rewatch crew, follow their Facebook page, follow their YouTube page, because the more exposure they get, the more people learn about them, the broader their reach, the more they can do to help animals and make a difference for wildlife. And that's the whole purpose of the show today, is just to, again, introduce you to more people than might have already known about you, and just make things grow in a good way for you, so that you can do more with what you have. But I'm just dumbfounded already at the number of animals that come in and go out the door. And I just wonder if, I mean, I know people say you don't know what you could really do until you have to do it. And just being in rescue at all, again, I know you have to take the bad with the good, but what I'm imagining is just the volume that you guys deal with is nothing like I will ever know. Even when it's a really busy season, then it's after Christmas and all the puppies are coming in and the foster homes are full. Have you ever had to close your doors to intake because you're at capacity? Okay.
Nope, we don't. And that's something that we really strive to never have to do. And luckily, like I said, with all of our volunteers, our dedicated staff that's here, and that we're able to,
even when we're full, we make room.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So let's hope that's never going to come up for you. Okay. So anyone in the chat have questions for any of the rehab team here? And did I ask you already how many total rehabbers are there? I know we talked about just staff in general, but
so there's Austin,
Is she talking about licensed who here?
Yeah.
Okay, then it'd be me.
okay.
Me, Susan,
Dan, Annette,
Dan,
Greg.
Annette, Greg.
And then for you, Austin, what's the time frame? Like what does it take? How long before then you would be? You're striving to be a licensed rehabber or just a licensed vet tech? Okay.
Eventually, rehabber license, and then as far as vet tech goes, I'm about to start clinicals. So hopefully by like April or May.
Okay.
I should be done with all my vet tech stuff. Hopefully.
Okay. Do you guys ever have like interns come in? Maybe people that they're not looking to work with you long term, but they need, I don't know, observation hours or.
Let's hear it.
Maybe like we do have one. I guess you could call her she was a work study. And so she was coming in here. She was getting her biology degree at RSU, a college here. And so she was with us, and she's actually still with us.
Okay.
So, she was learning as she went, but this was her, what she was looking to do.
Okay, nice. Okay. All right. If no questions, I'll turn you guys loose.
Okay.
I'm gonna go make myself some more hot honey lemon water. I knew I wouldn't last. Typically the shows are about 2 hours, and I knew there's no way I can last that long. But I'm so grateful for all of you. I'm grateful for you devoting yourselves to animals. Again, that's near and dear to my heart. I'm so appreciative that you're on the show today, and I'm enjoying following you. And I'm going to continue to spread the word, and hope for nothing but the best for everybody that's involved with Wild Heart Ranch.
Well, thank you for reaching out to us.
You're so welcome. I do have one more question I can ask you. This is typically a question I ask when I have like just content creators on the show, and it's just not related to whatever it is you do in real life. But if you were stranded on an island, what 3 things would you want to have with you?
Johnny Depp.
Oh, a woman after my own heart. Okay.
You go first. I don't know. I gotta think.
I don't even know.
I probably have to have some Dr. Pepper and some cats and
my cat.
I had one person tell me a boat.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, nobody had ever thought of that. It was like 40 interviews in, and I asked the question, and they said, a boat? Okay, wow. Duh. No, it's just one of those little questions that sometimes makes people remember there's a life outside of what it is they're being interviewed about.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, if that really came up, what would I need? What would I want? So I don't even know for sure sometimes how I would answer the question.
Food,
But I
clean,
never
wear.
thought of it being something to help me get off the island. I've always thought of it being something that I'm just going to be on this island now forever. What do I want to have? So
Yeah.
I guess it's in the interpretation. But I will let you guys go. Please thank Annette for me for giving us the green light so we can get this set up. Again, it's going to always be now at the top of my list of some of my favorite interviews and episodes ever, just because I love what you guys are doing, and I'm glad I got to be a little part of it by sharing information with my audience.
Well, thank you so much.
All right. Yes,
All right.
thank you. You guys take care.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey, Lux, how are you? I won't stay very long now because, again, I'm kind of maxed out with my throat. I'm not going to do a cooking chat this Saturday because I still feel just bad enough to not want to push it. I'm so grateful I was at least well enough to do the interview today. Sleeping is not going very well because the cough I'm really having trouble controlling my cough. I don't like to take medicine, but I'm even taking cough medicine to try and sleep at night, but it doesn't work very well and it doesn't last very long. So I'm not complaining necessarily, but do feel like I should at least tell you why we're not going to have a very long show today. Thank you again for those who were with me live today. Thank you for those who are part of the rewatch crew. And I am planning still to do Tuesday's show next week. That was supposed to have been this past Tuesday. And then next Friday, I have another content creator interview set up with Bland's Promised Land Ranch. We are going to have a good time with them. That's if you haven't checked out their Thursday night lives, they will be live at 8:00 tonight. Every Thursday night, they go live at 8:00 Central. I laugh so much. I learn a lot. The people there are amazing, and it's just a good time for anybody who stops by. So put that on your to-do list to maybe pop in and say hello this evening, and I'll look for you there. Not a whole lot else going on here. I just have to tell myself, Lux, when stuff like that happens, that there's something going on with that person and they need some place to put it. So you got to be, water off a duck's back. Just let that roll right off of you. Thank you guys for being here. Again, sorry it's kind of a short stream, but I think we made the most with the time we had. And please, please check out Wild Heart Ranch here on YouTube, on Facebook. And if you are in a position to contribute somehow, if you're in the Oklahoma area, Northeast Oklahoma area, and you want to volunteer, obviously do that. I would love for you to do that because I would love to do that, but that's not going to work for me way down here. And then again, it's super, super simple to make a donation. Hit that link, go to PayPal, give them a few dollars because it does. I know it makes a difference. Thank you, Nancy. Again, not a whole lot else going on here. I'm going to stay hydrated as best I can. I will plan to see you guys on Tuesday next week. And I'm really close to 2,800 subscribers. I will put that plug in for myself. And you guys can help me hit that mark, share some videos, and invite your friends. And I love you. Thank you all again for being here. Be safe, be happy, be well, be blessed. I'm thankful that I did not cough my head off quite as much as I thought I would today. And so apologies for the times I did cough in the middle of the show. I hope you guys are staying healthy and that you have nice weather to enjoy. I can hear the dogs carrying on, the boys anyway, out at the fence, harassing Cabo and Delilah. So I'm going to get up and make them come inside. And I'll see you next week. I love you. I'll leave the chat open for a minute so you can say your goodbyes. And see you in the next video. Love you guys. Bye.